I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have no special guest. He's award winning author and the author of the book Becoming Fearless, no other than Dr. Benjamin Ritter. Welcome to Book 101. Dr. Benjamin, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, well, how is it going? Thank you for having me here. I am basically a career coach for leaders. I am also a talent development executive, and I believe that everyone can create a career that they can love if they become a little bit more fearless. And I had a very difficult career. Uh, First thing I thought I would do for my professional life failed. My major got canceled. Uh, 4 or 5 different jobs. I lost funding, and I was kind of stumbling through my career and thought that I was kind of doing the wrong thing. And by believing that, I didn't make it right and kind of gave up all my power. And so this book is hopefully going to help people that are in that same place become a little bit more fearless in their careers and in their life, and to realize that they have the ability to choose and change how they show up day to day. And that can create some magic.
Dr. Benjamin Ritter, thank you so much for sharing your empowering book, Becoming Fearless. What are the common sources of fear and self doubt in most people's lives?
Well, what's beautiful about the book, there's 65 of them. So 65 strategies is a journey from self-doubt to self-mastery. I mean, we have our inner critics. We believe beliefs that aren't real. We don't dream big enough. I mean, there's generally, when it all comes down to, though, is that we've given up the ability to lead ourselves. So we generally don't know what we stand for. We don't have true belief in the goals that we're set for ourselves. And so we're waking up every day feeling stuck, lost, or working on things just to feel productive, but we're just active. We're being active instead of productive. We generally don't believe in ourselves overall, just from like a are you worthy perspective. And then we also generally don't invest in the skills that we want to be great at. So we want something to happen, but don't feel like we're making progress. We're believing in ourselves enough. And then we give up control over our environment. We're afraid to let go of certain relationships to kind of help ourselves succeed in where we are. So those fears relate to fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of not being enough, um, fear of failure. Um, and I think almost everyone has some semblance of fear in their life. Just some people allow it to control their actions more than others.
So, how does fear impact decision making and personal growth?
Well, it depends on how you let fear affect your decision making and personal growth. The book is written because generally, if people are afraid, they believe that fear and don't take action. So if you want to change something, you want to maybe get a promotion, but you're afraid to ask your manager, that's fear. Or if you want to be perceived as more of an executive and you know that you need to speak up and share your ideas, but you're afraid what people are going to think, that's fear. Now, it's okay to feel fear, but then say, oh, but I have this goal, I'm going to act anyways. Or feel the fear and say, oh, that's information because I'm nervous about something potentially happening, but really it's just excitement because I want that to happen in my life. Oh, I should speak up. I should go talk to my manager. I should take that class. So depending on how you interpret fear, it could either help become a sign to take action, or hinder, be a reason to pull back. And most people see fear and label it as a reason to pull back. And so generally fear holds people, prevents people from actually growing towards their goals.
What is the connection between fear and limiting belief?
Hmm. Well, limiting beliefs are generally tied to fears. A limiting belief, I'm not good enough, or I can never achieve that, or no one wants to listen to me, or everyone dismisses my ideas, or I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy. I mean, generally, those limiting beliefs are tied to some aspect of fear, which is fear of failure, fear of hurt, fear of rejection. Um, so they're very much tied together. If we are able to reframe, I mean, one of the entries in the book is don't believe your beliefs. And our beliefs and our fear are based off of our prior experiences, how we grew up, um, who we were exposed to, who we had relationships with, the media that we consumed. And so we base generally our future actions off this past self. But those beliefs were created from someone maybe that you don't really want to be anymore. If you want to grow and you want to evolve and you want to achieve new things. So by believing those beliefs or believing those fears, we're actually acting in the past, living in the past, and preventing ourselves from creating a future.
Let it go, people. Let it go. So, how can I identify the root cause of self doubt help in overcoming it?
Hmm. So self doubt generally uh, comes from beliefs that we have. And so, first easy exercise for people to do. Well, by the way, it's not just beliefs, it's also understanding of who we are. So, clarity and confidence are tied together. But what would be a very simple exercise would be to write down all of your negative self critical beliefs over the course of a week. Just have a notebook and write them all down. And after the course of the week, I promise you, you're going to have a higher level of awareness of the negative things that you're telling yourself. And you're going to see ones that are more impactful than others, ones you actually do believe in, ones that you don't believe in. And just by default, by bringing a higher level of awareness, you're going to actually start countering those beliefs. Generally, you'll start saying more positive things. But what you then need to do is take a look at the beliefs that you say most often that are most critical, and you have a what if this wasn't true? What if this wasn't true? What could I believe? And write down new beliefs. You reframe them, generally based on what you're trying to achieve within your career in your life. And then once you have that new belief, it's a little bit easier with a coach or with a mentor, but it's a great exercise to do yourself. You have to then reinforce that new belief. Like, for example, if one of your beliefs is everyone dismisses my ideas, and your new belief would be um, people aren't dismissive of my ideas, I need to actually be more clear about those ideas. So then your new belief, then to reinforce it, then you have to take actions towards being more clear around those ideas. So maybe you invest some time in writing those ideas down, preparing for maybe a presentation, asking a peer to listen to those ideas and give you feedback, going to your manager during one-on-one and having that conversation with your manager about that idea, and kind of building up to maybe a larger public event with more peers or senior management where you can then share that idea. And so you're finding ways to reinforce a more positive belief and take action towards it.
Very well said, Dr. Benjamin. Very well said. And what does it mean to become a truly fearless?
Hmm. Becoming truly fearless doesn't mean that you're actually not afraid. And some people, will see the title and they'll be like, well, fear is there. Some fear is good. Well, fear is not good or bad. To become truly fearless, fear is just information on the path to your success. It isn't a reason not to do something. It isn't a reason to do something. It's a reason to get curious about something. And instead, people generally will feel fear, get caught in a negative cycle, and try to like avoid the thing, and then feel bad, and then feel fear again, and feel bad. And they don't do anything productive towards their goals. They're stuck in indecisiveness, and the story that they're not good enough becomes greater. Fearlessness goes, oh, I feel this thing. It it feels like fear. Why am I feeling this fear? How do I use this information now to take action towards what I want to achieve? And so if we can take away the negative connotation of fear from our lives, then we truly are fearless.
Definitely. Totally agree with you, Doctor. So, what does self mastery differ from merely overcoming fear?
Hmm. Self mastery relates to living for yourself. I founded the organization Live for Yourself Consulting because I believe that we will live in a better world if people live more for themselves. Because if you fill yourself up and you live more authentically as you, if you feel empowered and accountable to create a career that you can love and a life that you can truly say that you love, then we're going to have a lot of fulfilled and happy people doing great things that are impacting the world. So, self mastery means that you have become the most important leader in your life. You're treating yourself as if you are your own leader in life. So, you are giving yourself constructive feedback and you're open to it. You're giving yourself positive feedback. You're creating job opportunities or work opportunities or life opportunities for yourself. You're making decisions that align with who you want to be and who you are. That's what self mastery is. And you're doing it despite fear of judgment, fear of self doubt, fear of failure. You're doing it because it matters to you and that it means something to you.
What role does self awareness play in the journey toward fearlessness?
Well, if you didn't doubt yourself or didn't have fear, that means so you're not self aware, you're probably living a pretty good life. So self awareness is kind of a double edged sword because if you are very self aware, generally that causes a lot of self doubt. So, but if you are very self aware and very in tune with yourself, or at least can feel fear, then self awareness is the most is the way out. It's actually realizing that the fear that you feel, the beliefs that you have, are created through you, because of you, from you, and that you can change that. And so that awareness is critical, crucial. And a lot of the exercises that we do as a coach is building the pause between I feel something and I act. So how do you interrupt inaction from fear? Well, you build a greater pause from the feeling of fear to the action of inaction, which means I feel this fear, I back away. Well, self awareness is I feel this fear, stop, explore, and now that with that pause, you get to choose not to move away. You actually get to choose how to act. So self awareness is key.
Self awareness, people. So, how can setting small, achievable goals help in building confidence?
Yeah. Well, other than it builds some wins. So you become more cognizant of the fact that you can actually take action and make progress, and things aren't as scary as you thought they were. Uh, Too often, we pick goals that are huge and all encompassing. We pick a goal that really should be 20 goals and a goal that should take 10 years to achieve, or so outside of where we currently are that we just give up because it seems pointless to start. So, by breaking things down into small, achievable goals that are slightly uncomfortable but not unimaginable, unrealistic, we start proving to ourselves that maybe our previous belief isn't true. And that will build self-confidence. It will create greater clarity on how we want to act and what we want to achieve. And generally actually start to build more momentum to being even able to achieve the broader goal.
Becoming fearless. What is your favorite chapter you want to share to us?
Ooh, let's see. I'm just gonna spin to a page. Actually, you know what? I know I one offhand. There's I was doing some work and my fiance came in the room and wanted a hug. I was really busy. I had a meeting, and so I kind of ignored the situation. A little bit later, my dog came in with a toy, wanted to play tug of war, and I kind of ignored the situation. And then later that day, I had this moment of like, wait a second. Uh, I should have I should have played with the dog. I should have given my fiance that hug. I was afraid of my meetings. I was afraid of work. I was afraid of being late. I was afraid of a deadline. And that became a post that I made around never rush a hug. Always take the moments that are important to you, that are truly going to matter, that are going to create joy over anything else. And that post then became a section in the book called Never Rush a Hug. And really just being present to the most important moments that you're going to remember or that are going to make a difference in your life, towards the most important people in your life. A meeting doesn't matter more than a hug. So never rush a hug.
Wow, what an analogy. Dr. Benjamin, so what are some effective techniques for refraining negative thoughts?
Mm. Well, first, we have to give ourselves some grace that the negative thought that we have is there for a reason. So we're afraid because our self wants to keep us safe. And so if you are afraid of public speaking, or you're afraid of sharing an idea, or you're afraid of asking for feedback, or afraid of giving feedback, whatever it is, that's there because your consciousness, your body, your mental programming, your brain thinks that it's better for you not to do that. It's better to keep you safe. So first give yourself some grace and say, I understand. Like, actually tell yourself, I understand that being afraid is not a bad thing. Being afraid was here for a reason, to keep me safe in the past. But I would like to try something else out because it's not serving me right now. And you actually say this to yourself. And then you have to figure out, well, what you want the new belief to be. And so maybe the belief is, uh, by asking for feedback, I'll become more successful in my job. I'll know what my manager is thinking, and I'll be able to become promoted sooner. That's a new belief. And so then you have to reinforce that belief. You ignore the goal of this is to give grace to the past belief, and then give it less of a focus. Because generally what happens is we have a negative belief and we put it on repeat. And a lot of times people also not just have a belief, but they have a memory. And it's large, it's colorful, it's impactful. You feel it's emotional, it causes your gut to clench. And we have to change our attention to then be able to reinforce a more positive belief. So when we get caught in that spiral, we actually say, nope, I'm not going to focus on that. You say, I see you. I understand that you're there for a reason. And then we have to reinforce that positive belief. So that new belief is, by getting feedback, I'll be able to grow faster in my career. And it's important for me to succeed. So then once you have that belief, you reinforce it by then find something that's attached to that belief. So maybe it's envisioning what that future career path is. Maybe it's in the impact that you're going to create from that job. And so you focus more on that, and you hit pause on the repeat and play on your inner champion and advocate. And you do that enough times. It takes work, it takes some time, and you can reinforce it through a variety of ways. Just one example. You will start reframing that belief. And that's, and you can see why it's helpful probably to have a mentor or a coach, or to bring someone into this process, because it can be difficult if you're caught in that negative idea track.
So, Dr. Benjamin, what will be your advice for those people out there suffering from fear?
Well, you're not alone. A lot of people are suffering from fear, and we may try to change everything at once, and we don't have to. You've survived up to this point being as afraid as you are. You'll survive tomorrow being just as afraid. But maybe there's something that you really want to achieve, but the fear is holding you back. So focus less on the fact that you're afraid of all these things, and focus more on what is that goal. Figure out what that goal means to you. So what are the values that align to that goal? So why do you care about this? What will you achieve from this? How will you take action towards it? And then just from that, and make it a small goal, by the way. We already talked about small goals. Figure out what are all the negative beliefs and the fears that are holding you back from that goal. And again, this is a long process. This is a process. And then start exploring each of those fears. Try to prove the fear. Some research, and then try to prove the fear wrong. Each individual fear and belief. And eventually, it may take some time, you'll have taken some action to disprove that fear. And once you get to the point where that fear doesn't have as much of a stranglehold on you, you'll build some more confidence from that. And you can move to the next fear. And that's why the book is written in 65 different strategies. You can read it all at once, but generally you're just supposed to pick one of the strategies that resonates the most with you and take action, take the action that it recommends, and do that until that fear just subsides.
So, Dr. Benjamin, what is your short-term and long-term goals as a fearless?
Well, luckily, I faced a lot of my fears in life, and there isn't much that I'm currently afraid of. Uh, I think just in terms of goals, I am lucky to be able to wake up each and every single day and to live my number one value, which is health. And I get to focus in the world on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health of myself and my clients and the people around me. And so my main goal is to just spread the word of becoming fearless, to promote the book. That's why I'm here. Long term goal, spread it even more.
Yes, and to make more empowering books like this, are you planning to make a book like mindfulness?
This book might become there might become a workbook in the future that aligns with Fearless, just because a lot of it is action oriented. But currently, this book is me. It's my perspectives on the world. It is uh, like if I were to sit and give a lecture about what I've learned so far in life, this is the book. And so until something else changes, this is the one that's going to stay.
What habits and routines are essential for maintaining self mastery?
Mm. Well, I think it's different for every single person. Your routines, I can't judge. I can't judge. People have these books out here, the Miracle Morning and all these types of routines. I think they're incredible, but not everyone needs that. You need to figure out what you need. For me personally, I need to wake up. I need to do something that focuses on my health. I need to stretch. I need to then go to the gym and get movement. Again, my number one value is health. And then that for me is are the habits that fill my soul. And one of the things though too is constant challenge, ideation, innovation, creativity. And so I find something to do each and every single day that also is able to allows me to live that and show up in that way. A lot of people are just kind of showing up to life and reacting to life. What becoming fearless means is you show up to life in a way that matters most to you and you take pride in how you spend your time. Every moment you give to your fear, every moment you give to to kind of blaming other people for your current situation is the moment of time that you lose. So how do you make the most of where you're at? And so you need to find out what those strategies are for you.
So, Dr. Benjamin, to sum up our discussion, how does celebrating small wins contribute to long term fearlessness?
Well, celebrating small wins relates directly to building confidence. So kind of what we talked about before. And so if you can provide celebrate yourself, because way too often we're negative to ourselves, and honestly celebrate others. There's a section in the book about celebrating yourself, but also giving recognition to others. You're going to create a much more positive culture to show up and to work and to live in. And so, I mean, even right now, I have a success folder on my desktop on my computer with wins that I'm proud of. I celebrate something at least once a day that I'm proud of. And even, generally people compare themselves to others. And so they don't see the success that they've had. And so only focus on you and find, some people might say that wins are kind of gratitude, but just find reasons to celebrate you because no, like who else will if you don't?
Definitely. Dr. Benjamin Ritter, thank you so much for empowering us. And thank you for sharing your book to the world, Becoming Fearless. Can you please invite our listeners to support your books, your upcoming projects, and more?
Yeah, everyone check out liveforyourselfconsulting.com. All the info is there, liveforyourselfconsulting.com. And make sure to check out the book on Amazon and connect with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Benjamin Ritter. Thanks, Daniel.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Benjamin Ritter because if you support him, more empowering books to come, more empowering coaches to come. So, Dr. Benjamin, thank you for your time. More to come,
Thanks,
people.
Daniel.
See you soon. Thank you, Doctor.